gentlemen. We welcome you back live here from Atlanta, Georgia, here as we are at Echo Park Speedway, as we are now getting ready to settle on down with 24 heavy hitters of the Ruff-Neck Racing Series. Hi, everyone. I am Christian Schreier, joining you back here on the show. Great to have you all on board once again as James Wagner's Welding Superspeedway Series continues on. And today, we kick it down here in Atlanta, Georgia, with a 1.5 mile long Superspeedway configuration with the Gen 6 Cup cars. We'll get to our Ipswich Bay Soap Company green starting zone here. Let's start them on the pole. In the 93, it'll be Christopher Barker on the outside. Number 24 is Nicholas Don Francesco. Row number 2 in the 00 is Stephen Shue. On the outside of him in that 44 is Michael Presley. Row 3 in the number 28 it is Barry Tolson the outside. He's coming off a feature win already from a super speedway. The 01, Jeffrey Ledford. Row number 4 in the 6-pack Kenter the outside. And the number 33 is Ben Parson. Row number 5 and the number 31, that's Juan Cobbs Jr. And the outside in number 5, Shane Wielden Sr. Row number 6 in the 77, Adam Sprinkle. The outside, and the number 58, it is Johnny Hurst. Row 7 and the 13 is Chris Ramsey outside, and the number 30, that is James Wagner. Row number 8 is going to be the number 53 of Robbie Miner on the outside. And the 99 is Tim Taylor. Row number 9 and the 21 is Alex Foster on the outside. The number 2 is Tim Richardson. Row 10 is the 98 Eric Copperthorne on the outside. Number 69 is Brian Lashbrook. Row number 11 and number 16 is Mike Straminsky the outside. Number 84, Chad Hawkins. And row number 12, our final starters today will be Mason Hillegas in the 995. Way outside of him in number 18, Justin Wine. That's your starting lineup here, race fans, as our field of drivers get settled on down, ready to get timid, ready to get into it. Which one of these drivers is going to come out on top and get the victory here? We are about to find out as we settle on down to the Precision Fence Gates Industries starting zone. Green is out. It's time to go racing on the 1.5 mile super speedway. Gen 6 Cup cars here have never had a shot here on this configuration style S track. Only the Gen 7 has been thrown out here, minus the ARCA trucks and what was once the Xfinity/Busch Series, which is now the O'Reilly Series. So this will be an interesting learning curve to see what these Gen 6s have to put up onto the tail and up onto the fight here, knowing how much of a trouble that's going to be playing out here. Only a 1.5 mile long configuration. Look for drivers earlier on to get some really good speed and some temperamental runs that may end up firing a few of them into some bad spots early on. The longer this race goes, though, the more it's going to take the experience off the counter and more then towards who can figure out how to nail the tires and the fuel runs while entering into that tight entry of pit road off turn 3. Christopher Barker, the number 93 right now, currently leads it down with Stephen Shue in the 00 and Nicholas Don Francesco right behind him. Everyone else just kind of lining in position. Barker, not a stranger here to being into those top honors and top spots here. Right now he's trying to show what he can do while he's keeping that speed up here as the rest of the field kind of stays right in the mix. Some favorites in this one, of course, like Ben Parson, number 33, out of the gate, having to definitely do a little bit of workarounds, get up to par and get up to speed. At the moment, though, certainly not leaving anything off the table. Seems to be pretty much well aimed and configured with what he's doing and what he's aiming after. On the outside right now, Nicholas Don Francesco here, former winner here on the circuits, has had a lot of success on the Super Speedway Series, and again today really looking towards that overall pit stop points as well as the points in position for the championship hunt. Qualified well, and you got guys like Barry Tolson not far out of the loop either. Certainly another driver got to kind of keep your eye on for. Whoa! They got a little bit of trouble mixing up between there off through number 3 and a 4. Heavy hitters coming through and then going out. You get a little bit loose around here. You're basically just hoping to get out of the way quicker than you know it. Looked like the field might have stacked up there for a bit. and found themselves on the revolving door there. Driver that has to travel from the outhouse to get to the White House. The number 18, Justin Wine, right now, currently 7 spots up. Scratching at the surface and clawing at the positions. Trying to nail down some momentum, trying to get something going here. And my voice sounds a little off as well today, folks. Just keep this in mind. I've been literally announcing or broadcasting all this week, so I probably am a little bit off on my timing as well as my voice, so I do apologize in advance. It ain't easy being the life of an announcer. Whoa, speaking of not being easy in life of something, in racing, even if you're the driver, you know it's not easy being able to do anything other than just try to stay out of trouble. That wall protection right now getting a good little taste of some of these guys. There's a lot of them drifting way up into there and end up smacking and tailing around the field. Parker with some heavy artillery right behind him right now is the 0-4 of Jeffrey Ledford. Last night, on another end, broadcast streamed and actually up against me of all things, raced him down at Talladega with Lightning Esports, and he came out victorious in the first race of the Truck Series down there. Talked to him earlier today about this race, and he said flat out to me, I'm just going to use that success I had at Talladega last night. I'm going to use everything I got to stay in this one. So far, you can see just what happens when some overall confidence gets put into a driver. It changes them. It almost gives them this idea, this impression, a feeling of gratitude as much as speed and ability to do whatever they so please. And you can see exactly why that case is right now with that 0-1 hot on the trail and trying to get up there with Parker. We're 1/5 of the way completed in so far, and right at the moment, honestly, it's been a pretty big dog shootout on that outside lane trying to get some positions up. It's Don Francesco now. Looks to the inside trying to make a move here on Ledford. I always told Ledford he should have changed his last name to Leadfoot because he knows how to use that thing better than most do sometimes. Speaking of a good old Leadfoot, here comes a Bigfoot into the track here. I say that because old Bigfoot was driving the old Big Blue Oval, and this guy's driving a Big Blue Oval with sheer speed and terror mixed in between. James Wagoner getting up 9 spots right now. He currently is the Hard Charger Award recipient so far, but it is early, and he knows he still has a long way to go before he can climb to victory lane. Amazing though how far the pack has kind of traveled back and spread out just by simply drivers running on the circuit. You don't get that usually on like Daytona and Talladega. Usually you get guys that are kind of keeping it close, keeping it right on pace. May back out a little bit, then all of a sudden go to pit road. That's when things start to spread out a bit, but no. Everybody was well within reason, but the packs are spreading out more and more because a lot of drivers aren't keeping up momentum. Either that or struggling to. Boy, you can feel the speed coming off of Mike Presley here as Presley just continues to try to hold down the racing lane, trying to get up there with the other group of drivers. Christopher Barker and Nico Francesco at the moment holding down the racing lane and holding down their line, looking to try and execute on a perfect level. Don Francesco right now, though, I gotta believe the first chance and opening he gets, he's gonna probably make a move there on Barker, because Barker, I don't know what he has done to make the internet gods mad, but right now, that blinking in and out is gonna really be a humdinger for him if he's not careful, because that can land him into some more trouble than it's worth, and he's well aware of that right now, trying to avoid it. You're on board here with Shane Wilden Sr. right now as he's looking to make his move on the number 44. He looked tight in the inside, but realized he had no room, and now Wagner trying to make the runoff on the top side. Getting a great burst of speed off there as you see a good view of what it is like here trying to figure this 1.5 mile long track out. You know, it's crazy to say that the aero blocking down at Talladega Daytona. Oh! Trouble for Ledford. He is off the pace and off the track. No caution for the 0-1 though. They remain green. Will it stay that way? He's going to try to put it back on the track, kind of get it figured back out, but he got tagged pretty hard there. Take a look at the replay real quick, see exactly what transpired. I think he might have came off the top of the wall there after trying not to smack in there with James Wagoner. Yeah, watch this right there. Comes off the wall. You see him get up there. He's coming down, then tags the corner in off that tight exit. Again, that's the most unique thing here about Atlanta is those sharp exit points. And that right there, he caught it completely off guard and had nowhere to go and found himself stuck in a bad position. And unfortunately, that all but cost him. A tough break there for Ledford. I gave him a lot of that broadcaster curse, if you will, in my announcing. But I honestly was believing that when you have that confidence level pushed up like that, that you really are just pretty much playing with just yourself and the fiery pits that come with racing. Coming up on the top side, though, you got a battle for the race lead coming on. Don Francesco now finally finding a corner there on Barker, but Barker goes to the top side trying to use the 48 for leverage. He better not be trying to cut in and out and get up. Well, never mind about that. I was going to say, if he cuts in and out like that, when he is side by side around Don Francesco, I would not want to be any of them when that stuff hits the fan. All drivers right now, go! Trying to get around that 48. Mason Hillegas, supposed to be in the number 995 today, end up taking the 48 and end up almost taking the whole field out with him. He got out of the way just in time. Nicely done on his part, but that was a very tough little spot to be put in and almost pretty much collapsed an entire racing run. Speaking of a collapse here right now, Mike Presley, I'm kind of surprised how slow he's off the pace. Ben Parson trying to take control of that while Brian Lashbrook and Adam Sprinkle move themselves up into contention as well. Now they're up there with the number 58 at Johnny Hurst. You just see how much harder and harder it's getting for these drivers to maintain that speed and overall consistency again, because the track is just not giving them an inch, and it won't let it. Like we said before, you cannot breathe on this track. It is hardcore racing, side by side, all the way through. I know I've made my piece before about Echo Park, but the one thing I will give it is that when it is race hot, it's race hot. 3 wide down the front straightaway there. The number 13 of Chris Ramsey shoots the Jack Daniels machine right in between. Lashbrook backs out. Guarantee Lashbrook cannot be too thrilled to having to give up that lane choice, but you have to think smart here. You can't get to that high side and think you're going to have speed. It's the bottom and the middle. That's going to be where all that run is. Hey, honestly, look at this. Look at how hard they are driving into that corner, and that car cannot stay stuck to the ground. Normally, these cars have so much open area and timing to move around and keep it wide open. Here it is not so much. You are literally gilded in to that lane choice, and you better either be backing off when you're supposed to, or you better be hoping and praying somebody makes a mistake. We're going back on board here with Shane Welding Sr. as now James Wagoner and him have come. Uh-oh! Oh, hold on, baby! No, he can't. He can't save it. It's spun around. That's got to be a yellow. Yep, there's yellow. Yellow is out. Well, I see he's in there with Tolson in that wreck, so we'll have to take a quick look at the replay before we give a good judgment call, but that was definitely not a spot they wanted to be in. Just look at the replay. Oh, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious right there. Give credit to Tolson. He tried so hard to back out of it. I mean, honestly, for what it's worth, no one got completely tore around. That's just going to be 4 new tires that both of those guys are going to want. But nevertheless, that 28 of Tolson, unfortunately, is going to take AEOL. So Tolson are being told to go to the back here on lap number 24. A tough break there for Tolson and Welding, but again, you can't make moves like that. I think your race control has not been paying attention around here. Time to see who makes that a pit road here on the time and the paces here. Everybody hustling out quickly, but it'll be Barker that gets the better of him. Don Francesco trying to hurry out. He will. Hurst, Wagoner, gonna make it out through. Top down out of pit road will be Chris Ramsey, Patrick Denter, Brian Lashbrook, Adam Sprinkle, Ben Parsons, Stephen Shue, James Wagoner, Johnny Hurst, Nicholas Don Francesco, and Christopher Barker. That will be your field out of pit road. So Barry Tolson having to go to the back, unfortunately caused that little mishap. Race fans, when we come back, there is plenty more action still to come and a whole lot of drivers hungry to get to victory lane. Stay tuned with us. We'll be right back after this quick commercial message.
Ruff-Neck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
Welcome back live here, race fans, as right now we are currently with 23 laps remaining as we come to the restart zone. Nicholas Don Francesco, Johnny Hurst in the fight. Christopher Barker, the number 93, mechanical problems, and I think probably a little bit more of the troubles on the internet line there needing to be resolved. It sounds like they will throw him in the back. He'll join Barry Tolson back there as Tolson again had to serve an EOL. It's tough as a driver to have to be put in that position, even tougher to have to go through moments like this. But at the end of the day, we always say it, you've got to deal with the punishment. Field going to work their way around off turn number 3 into 4. 23 laps remain. Ultimate question I have is, of course, who's the one that's going to be able to keep their head on straight and keep their cool? These restarts are the worst thing as a driver because they're either your best friend or your worst enemy. Let's see who figures it out here coming off the turn number 4. Back to the Ipswich Bay Soap Company restart zone. Green flag is out as we send the James Wagner's Welding Superspeedway Series back in action. Down through the lanes and down through the chicanes. Every driver for themselves here as Wagoner right now has a slight edge coming off the backstretch. Don Francesco right on the bottom lane right now, just trying to see what he can keep up with in the pace. Steven Shue and Johnny Hurst pushing each of their drivers respectfully, while Adam Sprinkle and Chris Ramsey look on at an opportunity maybe awaiting them. The field of drivers right now just trying to get themselves more momentum kicked up around the track here as these field of guys right now look on from the high side, look on from the low side. Nobody taking the extreme outside lane again, trying to revert back to an old style of racing, which is race the right lane. And right now, the correct lanes are literally that bottom and the outside groove. A little bit of contact back there for Alex Foster. Got a little bit up into the range though in the zone. Alex Foster, another driver, raced with him last night. Was not one to mess with. Matter of fact, honestly, I'd argue he probably could have had easily a top 10, top 5 car that Superspeedway race had things gone a little bit better. And right now he's trying to make up for it here. Eric Copplethorne here, another driver that's been oh so close. Putting this Ipswich Bay Soap Company machine into victory lane. Numerous podium finishes. Now looking to try and close the deal here. Adam Sprinkle and Johnny Hurst moving into the race win spot. They are new leaders. Nicholas Don Francesco gave up some room and gave up the door there. Probably trying to conserve the fuel a little bit. At the same time, probably trying to conserve the tire more than anything. You got to think, again, we saw earlier what some of these drivers were doing on the long run. Well, imagine in that position, now all of a sudden you have to deal with the added stress and pressure of having gone from the bottom in the middle, now having start pushing around on the outside lane. That's not a spot you really want to find yourself in, or an area you don't want to go to. And that's a very tall order indeed. Christopher Barker, the 93, despite being your race leader, has gone to pit road. And the driver that qualified first will have to, unfortunately, settle this one out. A tough break there for that 93, but you can't do much when the internet gods are not allowing you to race today. 3 wide right off of turn number 2 there. That was the number 53 of Robbie Miner. The Mountain Dude up scheme, putting it right up there on Alex Foster, as well as Mike Straminsky in the number 16 and Mason Hilligas. Way down in there in that pack, and with Justin Y in the 18. Johnny Hurst currently leading, one of the only Toyotas on the track today. 3 Toyotas total, the rest all Chevys and Fords. The other Toyotas include Justin Wine and Eric Copplethorne. Now honestly, I'm kind of impressed so far here with Johnny. He's been really smooth, moving up 11 positions and kind of staying in control of his own destiny. He's not getting too rambunctious, he's not getting too heavy-hearted or heavy-minded. He's just running a solid race right now. Not overthinking it, and honestly, probably not overselling it, if I had to guess. Brian Lashbrook, number 69 machine. I know I don't have my comment section up and running, unfortunately. I do apologize, but like I said, I currently have had some technical difficulties, so I've had to pretty much kind of limit myself here. But I do know Sarah's been watching carefully on that 69 Cheetos machine. She's been hanging around there in the comment section, which I'm pretty sure she has been. She's definitely watching on for that man to get something figured out here with laps winding down. So there's one driver though to put it on. Definitely would be him. Or maybe even that number 30 of James Wagner, who's been extremely efficient on trying to get things nailed down to the T. Ben Parson. And Shane Wheeldon Sr. as well. All the drivers plowing into the wall protection. I don't know what happened there. Damaged heavily on the cars. They are completely damaged, but can they get them to pit road? They're going to try. Jeffrey Ledford as well. Also heavily damaged. No caution is out. They will remain green, but what the heck happened there? That is not what you usually see around these parts of town. What on earth? Here's a look at the replay real quick before we can get back to him. That was very minor contact there between Ben Parson and Jeffrey Ledford. Look at the save, though, from that 53 and the 5 just getting completely tagged there by Coppathorn. I'll give credit where credit's due. That was an impressive save there by Robbie Minor, but man, everyone else in that one just got completely disowned, discredited, and been sent back to the shadow realm thanks to that smash into the wall protection. Ben Parson out of the off the track and now into the pit road. Gonna try to get things fixed up quickly. Ledford and Welding Sr. gonna try to do the same. Problem is, they're now a lap down, and I don't see these drivers giving an inch here with 10 now turning 9 laps to go. Adam Sprinkle on the outside right now, maybe trying to just, no pun intended, sprinkle a little bit of that fairy dust inside that engine. Give it a nice little extra booster kick around these parts of town. He's going to need it because Johnny Hurst will not give him an inch. He's defending hard and throwing it up on the bottom lane, trying to aero block that side draft and trying to hold him down. That's your battle for the race lead with Steven Shue and Nicholas Donfrancesco right behind him. A murderer's row of drivers right now looking for the race lead. Nobody going to give an inch. No one making the mistakes. Completely wild scenario and situation and happening and able to keep it green somehow. I think that might be the first time I've ever seen iRacing not throw a caution out for that kind of a massive amount of carnage and wrecks for cars without anyone spinning. Usually if someone spins in front, obviously that's when the caution comes out, but that was a whole bunch of them that just got collected in that mess there. And again, they will not throw manual cautions. They will only throw a caution when they absolutely have to. And even then, that's not saying they will. They will let the racing gods and iRacing take control of that. And right now with 6 laps left to go, anybody's guess here. Oh, look at this, 3 wide, right on the front straightaway, coming for turn 1. Donfrancesco trying to push his luck and push the gap. He's 3 deep and he's 3 in, looking for the win. Impressive driving by everybody involved there. Sprinkle and Hurst holding on. But has that possibly given a little too much emphasis on that bottom lane? Donfrancesco can't get a run. Hurst is getting the better of the exit. Sprinkle's getting the better off the backstretch. Watch for Sprinkle here. Honestly, he's got the better run. With them fighting hard on that bottom and middle, that shoots the gap, and Sprinkle is your new leader. 5 laps. No, 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 no. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Watch out down there. Oh. Robbie Minor just getting completely towed in there. Nothing he can do about that. Oh, my. Well, I was just going to say this could end up being a ruckus kind of finish. Now, looks like we're going back to our usual green-white checkered finish. See what happened here. Oh, yeah. Well, I think I was kind of on the number 30 there, if you ask me, at least from that angle. We'll take another look at it here from Wagoner here. Here's another angle of it. And again, it didn't even boil down to just hitting that gas pedal at the wrong time. He was basically firing on all cylinders. He tried to avoid the 69, but once he came up into that wall protection, that's no man's land with this car. There's no control in that. None at all. So James Wagoner going to go to the EOL zone here, or the end of the line. but hopefully will not be the end of his road to possibly having a shot at victory here. So number 30 of James Wagner right now getting things squared back up on the track. After that little hiccup and madness there, Adam Sprinkle, Johnny Hurst, Stephen Shue, Tim Richardson, and Juan Cobbs Jr. will lead us down. You have to give me 1 second here, folks. Going to cut real quick to a quick commercial break here, and then when we come back, we finish this one out here at Echo Park.
Ruff-Neck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road. Ruff-Neck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
And welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, as we're now getting ready to finish this one out. Johnny Hurst, Adam Sprinkle looking to finish this one on a high note with a green-white checkered in play. What is going on with Johnny Hurst down there? What? No. What's wrong with the 58? Oh, mechanical problem just scored off Hurst. Johnny Hurst has put it into pit road. The car has stopped. It's done. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Well, that'll move up the number 2, Tim Richardson, just like that. What on earth? Well, I guess if anything, Tim Richardson just got a gift from the racing gods, but we're about to find out if this will play out the way he wants it to. He's got to take down Adam Sprinkle, who is not giving an inch here on these restarts. Here we come. Final times around, possibly for the last time. Here's a green-white checkered attempt. Green wide down. Nobody's giving an inch. Tim Taylor having to back out of that one. Tim Richardson right on the outside. Huge run. Sprinkle didn't catch him. And now he's got a bigger run coming. Here comes Alex Foster. I said it earlier. He's not one to sleep on. I raced him last night. He was tough, and now he's going to see what he can do with it. But Tim Richardson will lead us to the white flag, presented in part by Precision Fence and Gates. This one will finish under the green. Oh, no! Couple down there as we got a whole bunch of them lashed in up. Foster, Copperthorne, Wagner, a whole mess of them in the mix. Tim Richardson now with trouble on his back doorstep. He got a nasty push there from Sprinkle. Sprinkle trying to move him. Couldn't quite get him. Off of turn number 4. They'll come to the home finish line. And at the end of it, it's going to be Tim Richardson coming with the victory. Sprinkle will get second, and Don Francesco with yet another podium finish to round it out. What a race. Pure madness and chaos. That front straightaway, everything looked like it was getting a bit hectic. It looked like Alex Foster was ready to put something to Tim Richardson, but then all of a sudden he gets a little crossed up and mixed up there with Eric Copperthorne. And just like that, this one put under the lights and put under the night. There he is, the race fans. There's your winner, the number 2, Tim Richardson. Rocking the Wagoner's Welding sponsors tonight. Same for Adam Sprinkle. And of course, Nicholas Don Francesco rounding us out here. All right, race fans, time to take a look at your final results. Presented in part by our folks over at Precision Fence and Gates. Final results are in here. Well, 2 Chevys and 1 Ford in the top 3, but the top Ford will be Tim Richardson. Second going to go to Adam Sprinkle. Third's going to go to Nicholas Don Francesco. Fourth goes to Stephen Chu. Fifth to Juan Cobbs Jr. Sixth to Jad Hawkins. Seventh to Barry Tolson. Eighth to Mike Strominski. And ninth to Brian Lashbrook with Tim Taylor in the 10th spot, rounding us out. The rest of your finishers on your screen as well. Whoo, boy. What a race and what a night. What a day into the night we went. And now there's only one last thing left to do. Waiting on our drivers right now to come and have a little chit chat with us here if they so please. Guess we'll go ahead and see about starting it here with our 3rd place finisher. All right, race fans, he now joins me here in the booth here, race fans. The 3rd place finisher today, Nicholas Don Francesco. And Nicholas, once again, congratulations pulling off yet another podium finish. And all around tonight, you were definitely one of the drivers that had to have been the favorite to get to victory lane. But it seemed like those last-minute cautions and then that last-minute restarts kind of nuked you a little bit. What went through your mind there as things kind of started rolling in that territory?
I was going to be aggressive no matter what on that last restart. But if I had one more lap, we would have had a shot at it. But congratulations to Tim and on his win tonight, and he's earned it and well deserved.
Certainly well deserved as well for you and finishing in that 3rd place position. I know obviously you guys are really in a hot, heated hunt for those points championship series here. I mean, for you, what does it mean to really be able to kind of nail down from a 2.5 to a 2.66 to now all of a sudden dropping back to another 1.5 in terms of these super speedways here?
I don't know honestly. I'm not very good at super speedways. Well, I mean I'm good, but I'm still missing something. So, but to be able to be in the hunt for a championship is pretty cool. So hopefully we can survive these next couple of weeks and bring it home.
Absolutely. Well, Nicholas, anybody want to thank you for this 3rd place today?
Not really, except for you guys that put on the show, broadcast it for us. Precision Fence and Gates, and then the Ipswich Bay Company for sponsoring the events that we put on every Monday, and that's about it.
All right. Well, hey, Nicholas, congratulations taking on home for a 3rd place today, good sir.
All right, thank you. See you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nicholas Don Francesco. Here comes your 2nd place finisher now joining me here, Adam Sprinkle, giving us a little bit of that rotating race and season here and getting a nice finish here today. Adam, congratulations getting to 2nd place and having to start from that, looks like had to start back in the 11th spot. Made quite a run there coming back up to the field. What was it like there on those last bit, having to fight that hard on the outside and then the bottom?
Oh man, that was fun. That was probably one of the most fun races I've been in a while. And I was in chat with Johnny, and I told him, uh, I actually that last caution there, I said, man, I said I'm not pitting for tires even if I don't win this thing or whatever. That was I've had enough fun. It makes up for it right there. But we definitely had to come from a little ways back. Luckily stayed out of trouble and just was patient with it. Tried to save on what I could as far as just running the bottom. And then once me and Johnny kind of got up front with just me and him, we just tried to, run our race. And I didn't really plan to get on the outside of Johnny there when I did. I just got a little tight, and I told Johnny, I said, "Well, I guess we're going to race for a little bit." And it actually that was extremely fun. And I hate it for him. He had some connection issues there at the very end and had to dip out. And otherwise, I believe it would have been really exciting to see me, him, and Timmy coming down to it there at the end to see which one would have got it. Tickled for Timmy. Glad that he got a win. Glad that I got to help him a little bit there at the end, give him a little push, and you know, just tickled with how rough things here at Ruff-Neck's going lately. I know I don't get to race as much as I used to, but it's always fun when you get to come out and run with these guys.
If you had to do anything differently there, or if you wanted to do anything differently, would there have been anything you would have changed there, try to get more up in the pace there, or you think it maybe just help out Richardson, try to get some nice point stays in for you?
I'm perfectly fine with helping Tim out there. That's awesome. I'm glad he had a good run at it, like I said. But if I was going to shoot for the win, I wasn't the greatest on a little short run like that. I like to get a few laps in the car, and I couldn't. I'm faster when at the beginning of the race. I was getting pretty good at getting a run in high and cutting down and getting that good run off the corner, and I passed a few that way. If I'd had a few more laps, I may have had a little something more for Tim there at the end, but it worked out good for us, and I'm happy with it.
Anybody want to thank her tonight for this top 3 finish?
Oh yeah, man! It's just big shout out to Tim for everything he does and puts all these races on for this league and all the time and work he puts in for everybody. And of course, James Wagner's Welding, everything he does for the league. Thank the world of James and appreciate everything that he does. And just all the guys showing up to race tonight. We had a good car turnout, had very little cautions, and I think it was a great race. And I hope everybody at home enjoyed watching.
I think it's safe to say they certainly did tonight. Great job out there, Adam, and congratulations taking it on home for second today.
Thank you, buddy, and I appreciate you putting on the broadcast too. Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for that number 77, Adam Sprinkle. Well, it's safe to say, race fans, this one's a very popular win because he was well earned and due for one. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, your winner tonight, Hard Charger Award recipient, the number 2, Tim Richardson. And Tim, well, my friend, you probably caught the biggest gift from the racing gods and a terrible fate for Johnny Hurst, but man, did you capitalize on that one and just send it to victory lane, my friend.
Absolutely, sir. It's good to finally get the chance to get in here and talk to you and be in victory lane again, man. It's been a while. Like you said, I've been saying it. I was due for a win in this series. Took a couple of weeks off, needed to reset mentally and physically, but we're back and we're in victory lane, man. Tough break for Johnny. I hate that for him having connection issues, but yeah, right place, right time, and we were able to cash in.
Right place, right time, indeed. You cashed in on it, and honestly, that big run on the outside, I mean, really talk me through it, because it could not have been easy having to kind of straggle from being on that bottom to having to switch up and go to the outside and hopefully have those tires hang on with the heat that was probably in it versus when they were cold. Talk me through how you were able to get those things gripped down the bottom like that there.
Just having a good teammate there. Adam was with me, kind of pep talking me, keeping me focused there. I definitely wanted to be on the outside there. I preferred the outside over the inside. Once you got some laps on those tires and they started getting hot, those cars just started getting tight and wanting to run up the track. I knew if I could protect that third lane and stop any runs that was coming, if I drifted up a little bit, I could stop any runs coming on that third lane. But she held those last laps when it mattered, man. We put the pedal to the floor and steered left as hard as we could. The car stuck, and here we are, dude. I couldn't be happier.
Here we are indeed. Tim, who do we thank here today?
Absolutely. As always, been with us for 9 seasons. I have to thank Uncle Jamie and James Wagoner Welding. Big part of what we do here, keeping us afloat, keeping things rolling. I also want to thank Precision Fence and Gates, Mike Straminsky, for coming on board this season and helping out. Ipswich Bay Soap Company. Eric Copperthorne, everything that he does for this league. He's been here since day one. Straminsky as well. Special shout out to who we've got on the hood and on the side today. Register Retro. For anybody out there that's into retro gaming, they've got retro games, they've got modern games. Register Rips, if you're into wrestling trading cards, they've got that. Download the Whatnot app. Follow Register Retro and Register Rips. Go check out the shows. Great people. Wes Bravey, the shipping department. Grateful that they let me run their logos and represent them and putting it in victory lane for them. Shout out to you and Speed Zone TV for doing the broadcasting. You do a great job. I always look forward to going back and rewatching these races. Shout out to my admins that help me run this league week in and week out. And shout out to all the drivers, man. The drivers make the league. We put the races up, they show up and run the races. So just appreciate everybody that's involved here. We got a good group of people.
Got a good group and got a very popular win in your pocket today here, Tim. Congratulations. Well earned and deserved, sir.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we can do it again.
You heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Richardson getting down to victory lane tonight. Congratulations again, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, that will all but do it here today, race fans. Tim Richardson getting into victory lane, and all of us here at Speed Zone TV congratulating him and the top three here today. And a big thank you again to Precision Fence and Gates, Itchwood Space, So Company, as well as James Wagner's Welding for helping sponsor the entire Superspeedway series. Thank you again to Ruff-Neck Racing for having us join on in tonight, and we hope you guys have enjoyed it. But until next time, we must say goodbye. See you next time when the green flag flies.